Good day everyone, I am Sister Isabel, you can call me Sister AB for short, and welcome to the first day of our 1-week free online music seminar brought to you by Zion Baptist Bible College Music Seminary under the supervision of our Professor Sir John Jatnel Borja. Thank you all for coming here today, though it is only by virtual platforms. We thank God for these provisions. And we did not expect that this seminar will receive an enormous support from you all. Thank you so much. What a privilege to speak and share with you what we've learned from the music seminary. So, as a co-laborers in Christ, it is our desire to share to you all of the knowledge that we've learned so far from the music seminary. Though we're not an expert, that's a caveat. We're just students, but we have this desire of sharing to you everything that will help you for the work of the music ministry. So, enough for the intro. Shall we begin? But before we begin, let me give you some reminders that in this session you'll be having worksheets, and I'll be giving you some ample time to answer that. And we encourage everyone to answer your worksheets so that you'll have the feel of parang nasa klase talaga. You'll feel like you're really inside of a class, inside of a real session. So we're doing the best that we can to give you the feeling of a good seminar. So let's help each other. And are you ready to proceed? So let's go, and let me share to you my screen. Hello again. For those people who just tuned into our session, again, I'm Sister Isabel. You can call me Sister AV for short. Today I'm going to talk about basic music theory lesson. So this is good, especially for the beginners who have zero knowledge in music. And it's good. We are here to help you each step of the way. So we hope that you're going to finish this seminar today until Friday. So today we're going to cover basic lessons. Then as we progress, we're going to have advanced lessons. And in our sessions, you're going to answer some worksheets too. So, para makapag-practice kayo so that you'll apply immediately the knowledge that you've just learned, diba? And, okay, let's begin. So, basic music theory. And yeah, meet your presenter. It's me, Sister AB, and I am a CCM student since 2018. So that quote, if you're seeing my screen, music is a gift from God that saved my life many times. So how about you? What is music for you? For me, music is really a part of my life, and I can recall many experiences where God used music as a blessing. And I know you have your own story to tell, but let's talk about it later. Let's proceed to our lesson. So this lesson will include the following. So first one, the staff, the treble clef and staff, the bass clef and staff, measures, bar lines, and double bar lines. Then the last would be time signatures and note values. So may I remind everyone that you're going also to answer some worksheets in between lessons so that you'll immediately apply the lessons that you've learned from this session, diba? Pag ina-apply agad, mas naiintindihan natin yung lesson. So, yun, we are going to give you some ample time to answer the worksheets, and we hope na sagutan nyo talaga siya. Give some time to work on your worksheets, And we are here to help you each step of the way. If you have some questions, you can type in there in the comment section below, and we'll help you answer all of it. And just bear with us. We know that ang dami-dami nyo. I forgot the exact figures, but we'll try our very best to answer all of your questions. So let's proceed to the first lesson, which is the staff. So staff, if you have there with you a sample music sheet, yung mga member ng choir, so usually kayo yung may mga pyesa. This is what you call a music sheet o pyesa sa Tagalog. So may kita nyo, as you can see there, this is a staff. And staff is composed of 5 lines. So music is written on a 5-line staff. So as you can see here on my screen, there are 5 lines, and we will count from bottom to the top. So you can see there's line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4, line 5. So that is a staff. So here in my music sheet, this is a staff. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So kung may pyesa po kayo, you can get it. And yan, para mas makita nyo. Then also, it doesn't just compose 5 lines. Meron din siyang 4 spaces. So 4 spaces. Space 1, 2, 3, and 4. As you can see in my screen, there. Space 1, space 2, space 3, space 4. Okay, so that is a staff. So it's composed of 5 lines, and there are 4 spaces on it. Now let's proceed to the next slide. So musical sounds. So the notes are written on a staff. So here in my sample music sheet, ayan, yan yung mga nota, and their positions indicates if it is a low note or a high note. So kung saan siya nakalagay, nag-i-indicate yun kung mataas ba siya na nota o mababang nota. So dito in my slide, in the first staff here, this note sounds higher than this one, the note on the second staff. Usually if the note is written on the higher line, it indicates a high tone. So if it's written on a lower line, it indicates a low note. Okay, so notes on the higher line or spaces indicates it has a higher pitch or sound than those on the lower lines and spaces. So on my next slide, this note, the note on the first staff, sounds lower than that note on the second staff. Okay, so I hope that is clear. So let's review from the very start on my first slide. Again, staff is composed of 5 lines, and you're going to count it from the bottom up to the top. So line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4, line 5. And the staff also has 4 spaces. And space 1, space 2, space 3, and space 4. Then the musical sounds depends on the position of the notes on the staff. So kung nakalagay siya sa higher line, it means mataas yung tono niya. if it's written on a lower line, it indicates a lower sound. So again, in this line, this note sounds higher since it is written on the fourth line. So this note is, it sounds higher than the one who is on the first line. And dito naman sa mga may space, this note, the second note, sounds lower than that on the note which is on the second staff. Kasi nandun siya sa fourth space. So, I hope that's clear because now you're going to answer your worksheet. And I'm going to give you 5 minutes only to work on it. So, madali lang siya. I believe you can answer it very quickly. So, if you have some questions, let us know about it. Type it in the comment sections below and we'll answer back. So, your 5 minutes starts now. And now we're back. Okay, from what we have discussed earlier, we talked about the staff. So, music is written on a staff, and the staff has 5 lines. And you're going to count it from the bottom up to the top. Then, staff also has 4 spaces. Okay, so 5 lines, 4 spaces. Now, let's proceed to the next lesson, which is the treble, clef, and staff. Okay, as you can see here on my screen. Alright, treble, clef, or G clef. So, at the beginning of each staff, there is a clef. And we're going to talk about the first clef, which is the treble clef. So, kaway-kaway sa mga hindi marunong mag-drawing ng treble clef. I too, hindi ko pa siya talaga master na master. It takes practice, practice, and practice. So, let us learn how to draw the treble clef. But before that, the G note is established on the second line. As you can see here on my screen, the G clef here. Okay, the G note is on the second line, and dun din nag-umpisa yung stroke ng treble clef. Okay, so don't forget that at the beginning of the staff, there is a clef, and treble clef establishes the G note on the second line. Okay, are you ready now to draw G clef or treble clef? Okay, I don't know how to do this virtually, but let's try our best. So, step 1, how to draw the treble clef. First, you're going to draw the line and tail. So, kunwari na lang, nagdo-draw ako sa pencil. So, okay, here. To draw the treble clef, first draw the line and the tail. So, I'm going to start with the tail. Then, the line. Step 1. Then, step 2, add the top loop, the top loop. Okay, as you can see on my screen, there, the top loop. Then, you're going to add the bottom loop. Alright. Again, from the start, you're going to draw the line and the tail, then up the top, add the top loop, then the bottom loop, then you're done. Okay, as you can see here on the last box, you can know how to draw the treble clef by following the dotted line. So, if you have a pencil and a paper with you, try drawing the treble clef using these steps. So, first, add the line and tail, add the line and tail, the top loop, then the bottom loop, and you're done. Again, for the last time. The line and the tail, the top loop, then the bottom loop, and you're done. Okay, later I'll give you an ample time to draw it on your own. So let's proceed to the G clef notes. So here are the notes that are found in the G clef staff. So basically, the G clef uses the first 7 letters of the alphabet to name its notes. So what are the 7 letters of the alphabet? A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. But here we're going to start on the letter E. So E, F, G, A, B, C, D. Then tuloy-tuloy na siya. So here on my screen, on the first line, nandyan nag-umpisa yung letter E, the note E. Note E. Then, on the first space, we have the note F. Then, on the second line, we have the note G. Then, on the second space, we have the note A. Then, on the third line, we have the note B. The third space, we have the note C. On the fourth line, we have the note D. Fourth space, we have E. And on the fifth line, we have the note F. So, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. Now, I'm going to show you a technique in order for you to remember it on your mind para mas mapadali nyo siyang ma-memorize. Okay? So, first, we're going to do it yung mga notes sa lines. Okay? So, we have this acronym na every good boy does fine. And, ito yung mga notes na yan na naka-indicate per line. So, on the first line, we have the note E. And ang ibig sabihin ng E sa acronym ay every. Then, dun sa second line, good. Third line, boy. Fourth line, does. Then, fifth line ay yung fine. So, you can remember the treble clef lines by memorizing this acronym. Every good boy does fine. Now, how about yung mga notes, the notes that are written on the spaces? Okay, so we're going to use this word face, but it has no meaning each letter, just face. Okay, on the first space, it is the letter F or the note F. Second space, A. Third space, C. And on the fourth space, we have the letter E. Okay, so remember, kapag nandun tayo sa treble clef lines, we have this acronym, every good boy does fine. So each line, merong corresponding na letter. Then, on the treble clef spaces, we're going to use the word face. So, each space corresponds to a one letter. So, first space, F. Second space, A. Third space, C. And the last space, which is the fourth one, is letter E. So, every good boy does fine sa treble clef lines. And treble clef spaces, we're going to use face. So, I hope that's clear. Do you have some questions? Because now you're going to answer your worksheet. Okay, I'm going to give you another 5 minutes to answer your worksheet. And, I hope nagsasagot po talaga tayo ng worksheet para mas mag-retain sa ating utak yung ating napag-aralan. So, it is much better that you're really answering your worksheet so that you'll be able to remember the lessons immediately. Application is the key. So, alright, I'll leave you and I'll give you your 5 minutes now. And we're back. Again, I'm Sister Avi. For those who just tuned in, I'm going to do a quick review. First, music is written on a staff, and staff has a 5 lines, and also it has a 4 spaces. So the position of the notes indicates its sound. So if it's written on the higher line, it indicates a high note. If nasa lower line siya or lower spaces, it means it is a low note. So second, we talked about treble clef and how to perfectly draw it, coming from the tail, the line, the top loop, the bottom loop, and we're done. Okay, the treble clef line notes is every good boy does fine. Then, yung mga nasa space naman ay F, A, C, E. Okay, now we're going to proceed to the next lesson, which is the bass clef, also called the F clef. So, if the treble clef or the G clef establishes the G note on the second line, the bass clef establishes the F note on the fourth line. Again, it establishes the F note on the fourth line. So, if you have your music sheet with you, so this is the treble clef. If you're a member of the choir, we all know that this staff is for the soprano, the alto, and the bass clef is for the tenor and bass. So, okay, so this is the treble clef and this is the bass clef. So if you're on my screen, so that is the bass clef. And here we're going to learn how to draw the bass clef. Mas madali siya kaysa sa treble clef. So first, step 1, we're going to draw a solid black circle on the fourth line. Okay, don't forget, on the fourth line, you're going to draw a solid black circle. So, okay, solid black circle, drawing a solid black circle. Then we're going to add the curve coming from that solid black circle. Add the curve. Okay, then you're going to add 2 dots in the third and fourth spaces. So that, yan, kunwari naglagay ako ng dots sa third space and the fourth space. So first, step 1, you're going to draw a solid black circle on the fourth line. Then you're going to add the curve and you're going to add 2 dots on third space and fourth space. So, okay, so step 1, let's look at the screen. Here's the step 2 and here's the step 3. So, follow the dotted lines. Okay, if you're looking on my screen, on the last box, ayan, meron siyang dotted line. So, try drawing 5 bass clefs on your own. So, but I'll give you more time mamaya sa worksheet. So, remember, bass clef establishes the F note on the fourth line. Now, we're going to learn the F clef notes. So, kung kanina sa treble clef, we've learned every good boy does fine and face for the spaces. Now, medyo iba siya. It's going to be different here on F clef. So, but same thing. We're using the first 7 alphabet letters. But kung kanina sa treble clef, we started with the letter E. Now, we're going to start on the letter G. So, here, F clef notes. On the first line, we have the note G, first space A, second line B, second space C, third line D, we have the D note. Then on the third space we have E, then fourth line we have F. On the last space, which is the fourth space, we have the letter G, and on the fifth line we have the letter E. So kung kanina we have a technique to remember the notes on the treble clef line notes. Now we also have this technique for the F clef notes na written on the line. So we're going to use this technique na good boys do fine always. So good, dun's letter G note, the G note or the letter G, dun siya sa first line. Second line, we have B, which means boys. Third line, we have the D note, do. Then on the fourth line, we have find. Then on the fifth line, we have always. So, good boys do find always. That is for the F clef notes na nakalagay sa lines. Notes that are written on the lines. We're going to use this technique na good boys do fine always. Good boys do fine always. Okay. So, next, dun naman tayo sa we're going to discuss the F clef notes na nasa spaces. So, first, if we're using the word face doon sa treble clef, treble clef or G clef. Dito naman sa F clef notes, we're going to use this technique. All cows eat grass. So on the first space, we have the A note, all. Second space, cows. Third space, eat, the E note. Then on the fourth space, we have grass. So, all cows eat grass. 4 only kasi 4 spaces lang ang meron sa isang staff. So again, for the F clef notes, F clef notes na nasa spaces, all cows eat grass. Okay, let's do some review dun sa mga notes na nasa line. We're using this technique. Good boys do fine always. Remember, sabi natin kanina, the F clef or the bass clef establishes the F note on the fourth line. So, see, yung fine, yung F note nasa fourth line talaga siya. So, it's another technique to remember. So, good boys do fine always. That's for the bass clef lines. Then for the bass clef spaces, we have all cows eat grass. 4 on. So, okay pa ba? Is it clear? Medyo naguluhan ba? Again, let's have a quick review for the bass clef. So, bass clef establishes the F note on the fourth line. Then, when you draw the bass clef, you're going to start to draw a solid black circle on the fourth line. Then, susundan nyo siya ng curve. Then, you will add 2 dot notes on the third and fourth spaces. Then, for the F clef lines, we have good boys do fine always. Then, for the F clef spaces, we have all cows eat grass. So, another worksheet. You have another worksheet to answer, and I'm going to give you your 5 minutes. So, ready? If you have questions, again, you can leave it on the comment section below. And we also have a Q&A after our session. So, answer your worksheets. 5 minutes starts now. And now we're back. Okay, we're going to talk about the different types of notes. Now remember, we talked about earlier, the position of the notes indicates a vital role sa ating musical staff. Okay, yung position nila will indicate if it's a high note or a low note. Kapag nasa higher line, higher space, high note. Lower line, lower space, low note. Now we're going to talk about the duration. If it's a long, or if it's going to be long, or it's going to be short. So it will be indicated by different types of notes. So if you're seeing my screen right here, so we have here whole, half, and quarter notes. First one, the whole note. So the whole note, it is a note which has a longest time value, and it is equivalent to 2 half notes. So when we say 2 half notes, 1 half note is equal to half, 2 seconds. And so 2 half notes for 1 whole note. Then also 1 whole note is equivalent to 4 quarter notes. So quarter note, 1 second. So as easy as that, 1 whole note is equivalent to 2 half notes or 4 quarter notes. So we're going to half note. 1 half note is equal to 2 quarter notes. As easy as that. And yung quarter note, di na natin kailangang pahabain pa. 1 quarter note, 1 second. So I have here this picture. So it indicates the whole note at the top. And then equivalent siya sa 2 half notes. Yan, 2 half notes. Sorry. Then, yung 2 half notes ay equivalent siya ng 2 quarter notes. So, madali lang siyang matandaan. Easy to remember. Okay, now let's proceed to the stem. What is a stem? A stem here, if you're seeing my screen, it is a thin vertical line which connects to the note head. This is the note head. This as the black solid color one. Yan, ito. Yung oval. Yan yung note head, and the thin vertical line is your stem. So there are rules regarding sa paglalagay ng stem sa isang staff. So the stems for half notes or quarter notes go up if the notes are below the third line of the staff. So kapag nasa below the third line of the staff, here is your third line, it will go up. Yan. Pero kapag ang note natin ay nasa, okay, I'm having trouble with my screen. Okay, stem go down if notes are on or above the third line. Okay, then mapapansin nyo iba yung itsura niya dun sa previous slide natin ganina. Stems going down are attached to the left side of the note head. Ayan. So, review natin yung kanina. Balikan natin yung kanina. The stems for half notes and quarter notes go up if the notes are below, sa ilalim ng third line. Okay, stems going up are attached to the right side of the note head. Okay, so that is rule number 1. If your notes are below the third line, this is the third line of the staff, your stem ay going up. Now, the second rule. Stems go down if the notes are on, or above the third line. On or above the third line. See the note right here? Nandito siya sa third line. At yung mga sumunod na notes nasa taas na ng third line. Kaya yung stem niya ay pababa. And when you're drawing a stem that goes down, it is attached to the left side of the note head. So, what is the stem? Stem is the thin vertical line that connects to the note head. And it goes off if the note head is below the third line. It goes down if it's on or above the third line. And kapag pababa na siya, it is attached on the left side. If it goes up, it is attached on the right side or sa kanan. Now, only half and quarter notes has a stem. Ang whole note, wala po siyang stem. Wag po nating ipagpilitan na magka-stem ang whole note because that's it. That's what it is, okay? I hope you get that. I hope everything is clear with that because you're going to answer your worksheet and your 5 minutes starts now. Hello, I'm back. I'm Sister Ava and now we're going to talk about measures, bar lines, and double bar lines. So, music is divided into equal parts called measures. So, in order for you to understand it more clearly, I have here my sample music sheet. So, here, this is what you call measures. So, when your choir directress or choir director said, "Okay, choir, let's start at measure number 4." So, where is that? So, you're gonna count from here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, here's your measure number 4. Sometimes, the music sheet indicates it. Right here, see number 4. Looking on my screen, here is what you call a measure. So, what is this line? So, these are what you call the bar lines, and it indicates the beginning and end of a measure. So, the distance between two bar lines is what you call a measure. So, this is your measure number 1. Then, bar line, measure number 2, bar line, measure number 3, bar line, then measure number 4, bar line. So, bar lines, measure, notes, clef, stem, then note head. Alright, now, looking on my screen, what is a double bar line? Okay, as you can see here on my screen, it is double bar lines has one thin and one thick line. And kapag nakikita nyo yan sa inyong music sheet, sa inyong mga pyesa, it indicates the end of a piece. Again, double bar lines indicates the end of a piece. So here, in my sample music sheet, here is what you call a double bar line. So, one thin line, manipis lang, then sinundan siya ng one thick line, ng makapal na line. So, it indicates na tapos na, over na. Tapos nyo nang kantahin yung pyesa. So, double bar lines again shows the end of a piece. And bar lines indicates the beginning. So, this is a bar line, the beginning and end of a measure. And the distance between two bar lines is what you call measure. Again, this is a measure and this is bar line. Double bar lines shows the end of a piece. Now, you're starting to realize na hindi lang basta-basta yung mga elements na nandyan sa music sheet nyo. You will now start to appreciate more your music sheets. And now you're going to appreciate me more because I'm going to give you 5 minutes to answer your next worksheet. And your 5 minutes starts now. Hello everyone, I'm back. Again, I'm Sister AB and we're going to have our last lesson for today's session, which is time signatures and note values. So, what is a time signature? Time signature are placed at the beginning of a music piece. So, here is our sample music sheet, and this is what you call a time signature. So the numbers here has a meaning. May meaning yan, di lang yan nakalagay dyan or trip ng composer. So the numbers shows the number of beats that each measure will be having, and the kind of note that receives one beat. For an example, here in 4/4. So the top number shows the number of beats in each measure. So in each measure, 4 beats or 4 counts ang marireceive ng kada measure kapag ang time signature ay 4/4. Alright? Then, the bottom number shows what kind of note receives 1 beat. So here in 4/4, the quarter note receives 1 beat or 1 count. So let's discuss it further with this slide. As you can see on my screen, in 4/4 common time, yan, you see a whole note there. So sa isang measure, in one measure, it has a 4 counts. So, 1 whole note, 4 counts. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. When you conduct it, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. On the next one, there are 2 half notes there. So, the first half note, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Then on the next one, there are 4 quarter notes. And in 4/4, 1 quarter note receives 1 beat. So, in that measure, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. It has 4 counts and the quarter note receives 1 beat. So, here in our sample music sheet, sa kada measure niya, it will have 4 beats. So, send the light. So, here in measure 4, may 4 siya na count, 4 na beats. So, pag 4/4, yung top number shows how many beats in one measure, and the bottom number shows what kind of note receives 1 beat. So, let's have some exercises here. So, we have here common time, which is 4/4. And the first measure, mayroon tayo dyang 4 quarter notes. So, you're going to give it for 1 beat, 1 note. So, one measure, 4 beats. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. The next measure, 2 half notes. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. The third measure, there are 4 quarter notes. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then, on the fourth measure, there's 1 whole note. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then, on the fifth measure, we have 1 half note and 3 quarter notes. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. And on the last measure, bakit siya last? Kasi may double bar line. Remember, double bar line, one thin line and one thick line indicates the end of a music sheet. So, the end of the measure. So, here in the last measure, we have 2 quarter notes and 1 half note. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, I'm going to do it continuously from the very first measure up to the last measure. So, on the first, from the start. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's try it without saying the, saying the counts. Just saying it inside our heads. Yung di natin siya sasabihin, isipin lang natin siya. So, konting lang, twist lang. So, let's try it. So, let's go from the first measure. Okay, so remember, time signatures are placed at the beginning of a music sheet and the top number indicates how many beats each measure will be having, and the bottom number indicates what note gets that one beat. So I hope that is very clear to you. If you have questions, you can type it in the comment section below, or you can reserve that in our Q&A session later after the session, because now you're going to answer your worksheet and your 5 minutes starts now. And that's it. Thank you so much. That ends my lesson for today's session. Again, I am Sister Isabel, Sister AB for short. Thank you so much for giving me your time. And I hope naintindihan niyo yung lessons. If you have questions, please do give it to our Q&A session later. And you can also type in your questions in the comment section below. And I'll try my very best to answer all of your questions. Just give us some time to read all of it. And just to give you some quick review, today we've tackled the staff, treble clef, bass clef, treble clef or G clef, bass clef or F clef, and measure, bar lines, double bar lines, time signatures, and note values. So I hope from today's lesson, you're going to appreciate more of your music sheets and you're gonna love it from now on. Hindi nyo na siya sasayangin or basta-basta itatapon, basta-basta ilalagay, kasi you now realize that yung mga elements of music ay mas naiintindihan nyo na ngayon, diba? If mas naiintindihan nyo na siya, mas pahalagaan nyo siya, right? So, I hope I was able to help you understand the basic elements of music theory, and I hope you've had a great time with me, and I'll see you in my next lessons. So I hope you'll finish this 1 week free online music seminar brought to you by Zion Baptist Bible College Music Seminary. And that's it. That's for now. I'll see you in my next lessons. Bye! Sister AP now, signing off. Bye!